Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to talk about Algebra 4. We're going to start with using formula lesson or topic. Basically, using the formula topics, it means you need to understand the formulas or the formula of everything we studied. For example, this one here, this formula is for the Pythagoras. We use Pythagoras to find the missing line of a right angle triangle. If we have all the lines except one line, we can use Pythagoras to find the missing line, which is a squared equals b squared plus c squared. And a squared, which is the one alone, is the hypotenuse or the longest line on a triangle. And here we have a parallelogram. In parallelogram, the area of parallelogram is base times height. So base times height. And this is the trapezium. It has a long base and a short base and a height. The long base and the short base are always parallel to each other. So the formula of the area of trapezium is a plus b, which is the long base and the short base, a plus b, and then multiplied by the height divided by 2. Okay, or you can divide the height by 2 and then multiply it by a plus b. Okay, same idea here. Area of a triangle is half base times height, and speed is distance over time. Area of circles is pi r squared, and the circumference of circles, or circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. Now, basically, you're supposed to know all the formula here, so we can use them to answer questions. For example, let's take a look at one of the questions here. In this question, question 3 here, the area of this triangle is 72 centimeters square. Find its height. Now let me first cover this. Okay, guys. So for this question, let me cover this area so we can work here. The area of this triangle is 72 centimeters squared. Find its height, which is h. Basically, you have to understand the formula of the area of a triangle. Now, the formula of the area of a triangle says what? It says that the area of a triangle equals, let me make it bigger, equals half base times height. So half base times height. Now I'm going to write half like this, 0.5 times base times height. This is the formula of the area of a triangle. So I'm going to use this formula here. So we already know that the area is 72. It means I'm going to substitute this 72 instead of the area here. And then I have the base here, which is 18 centimeters. I'm going to put it instead of the base and then rearrange to find the h. Now let me put the numbers. The area is 72, so 72 equals 0.5, which is half, times the base, which is 18, and times the height, the number or the value that I don't know. Now I'm going to continue this. So 72 equals half of 18 is 9. Very good. Half of 18 is 9 times h. So it's going to be 9h, like this. And then I need to make h the subject. It means I'm going to take the 9 to the other side. And because it's multiplied, I'm going to take it by dividing over here. So h equals 72. This, sorry. H equals 72 divide 9. 72 divide 9, like this. This means when you calculate this, 72 divide 9 equals what? Very good. 72 divide 9, because it's missing an 8, it's going to be an 8, right? It's missing an 8 from 80, it's going to be an 8. So the whole idea here, we divided 72 by 9, we got 8, and the unit should be in centimeters because the whole length that we're using are centimeters. And this is how you answer a question like this. So basically, you use the formula, you go the opposite way or the inverse way, you change the subject, and you find the answer. Now, let's move on to the next question. Here, this question here, the area of this trapezium is 21.62 centimeters squared. Find its height. So here, the trapezium, they gave us the area. We need to find the height. Same idea. I'm going to go the opposite way. Y- Yes, you have to use the formula. Use the formula of the shape that they gave you. Let me. The area of this trapezium, as we said, is 21.62 centimeters squared. Find its height, h. Now this is the height h, and now we understand that this is trapezium. We said a trapezium has two bases. The short base, which is here, we call it A, and the long base, which is over here, we call it B. Now we write the formula of the area of the trapezium. Area of trapezium equals, as we said, you can divide h by 2, or you can add a and b first. So a plus b, close bracket, and then multiplied by h times h, and then the whole thing will be divided by 2. Divide by 2. Or you can divide the height by 2, same idea, and then multiply it by a plus b. Now, this is the area of the trapezium. Now, let's substitute the numbers inside the area of trapezium. The area is 21.62 equals a plus b. So, inside the bracket, a is 3.8. As we said, we have to first make sure that they have the same units, and then we can work. So, 3.8 plus 5.4, 4, and then you close brackets, and then it's multiplied by the height, which is h that we don't know, and then divided by 2, like this. Let's put a line of division, like this. Now, first thing I do, I want to take the 2 to the other side because it's divided. I'm going to take it to the side by multiplying. Let me cover this area so we can work down. So I'm going to take the 2 to the other side by multiplying. So I end up with 21.62 multiplied by 2 equals 3.8 plus 5.4. I can add these normal numbers. So 3.8 plus 5.4, and it will give me 9.2. And it's multiplied by h, so 9.2 h. Now, I'm going to multiply the 21 by 21.62 by 2. 21.62 by 2. It will give me 43.24. 0.24 equals 9.2h. Now I need to make h the subject. It means I have to change the place of the 9.2. The 9.2 is multiplied by the h, so I can divide it by 9.2 here. So take it by division. So 43.24 divide 9.2, like this. Divide 9.2. This will give me h. Make a fraction like this and do the division. So I'm going to do this with the calculator, and I'll end up with the right answer. So 43.24 divide 9.2, and the answer is 4.7. And because the units is in centimeters, I have to use centimeters. And this is how you answer a question like this. So focus on the formula of the shapes, the area of shapes, and how to use them and how to rearrange them, find the missing values. Now let's move on to the next question. Next question here, find find YZ, which is over here. Now, in this triangle here, I have a right angle triangle with three sides. One of them is missing, which is the YZ. It means I have to use Pythagoras. As we said, Pythagoras can be used in any way you want. You can say that C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Same idea with A squared equals B squared plus C squared. Same idea. Now, here, as long as the one alone is the height, the one on one side alone is the height, okay? So basically, which one is the height here? Very good, this is the height. So I'm gonna substitute this here. This means that 5 squared, write it here, 5 squared equals 3 squared plus b squared, which is unknown. So 5 squared and 3 squared and b squared. Focus on these steps because they are very important. You started with a square. It means you have to continue with the square until you get rid of it by using a square root. So a 5 squared is a 25. So 25 equals 3 squared is 9 plus, and here we have b squared, like this. Now, we need to make b the subject. It means I'm going to take the 9 to the other side. And because it's added, I'm going to take it by subtraction. So 25 minus 9 equals b squared. Equals b squared, like this. Now, 25 minus 9 equals what? Very good. It equals 16. So 16 equals b squared. Equals b squared. Now I want the b only. It means I have to get rid of the square. And to remove the square, I'm gonna, very good, do the opposite, which is square rooting. And because I did it to this side, I have to do it to the other side. So the square will cancel the square root, and I end up with equals b equals 16 square rooted will equal 4. And the unit is centimeters, so I have to use centimeters. And this is how you answer a question like this. So focus on the formula and focus on the steps of rearranging the formula to find the missing lines. If the line that I'm trying to find is the height, it means I have to add square both of them, add them and square root them. If the line the missing line is one of these lines, it means I have to square them, subtract them from each other, and then square root them. That's the idea of Pythagoras theorem. Now let's move on to the next question. Leave me. Okay, for this question, the diagram shows the cross section of a metal pipe. Find the area of the shaded part correct to three significant figures. So we need to find the area of the shaded part, which is the green one. Basically, the 7 is the big circle. The 7 is the diameter of the big circle, and the 6.5 is the diameter of the small circle. It means we have to find the area of the big circle and the area of the small circle, and then subtract them from each other. So the formula of the area of a circle is what? Let's write it here. Area of a circle equals pi r squared. Very good. Pi r squared. Let's put the r squared, and then we will put the pi over here. Make it blue, same color. So area of a circle is pi r squared. Very good. Now I'm going to use this formula to find the area of both circles, the bigger one and the smaller one, using their diameters. Basically, in the question, we have r, which is what? Which is the radius. It means for the diameter, how can I find the radius? Very good, by dividing by 2. So first, I'm going to divide this by 2. So the radius will be, yes, 3.25. So 6.5 divided by 2 is going to be 3.25. And the other one, which is 7, yes, 7, divide by 2, it will equal 3.5. So the radius here is 3.5 centimeters. So basically, we found the radius for each circle. Now we find the area for each circle. Let's start with the area of the bigger one here. So A equals pi r squared. Pi is 3.14 multiplied by r squared. The r here is 3.5 and it's squared. Okay. This is the area of the first circle. Now you calculate this with a calculator like this. So 3.14 times 3.5 squared. And the answer is 38.465 centimeters squared. And this is the area of the big circle, okay? Now you find the area of the smaller circle, which has a radius of 3.25. Same steps. So we have 3.14 multiplied by 3.25 squared. It has to be squared. And the answer is, let's use the calculator to find the answer. 3.14 times 3.1225, I'm sorry, 3.25 squared. And the answer is 33.16625. Write all the numbers that you have in the calculator so you don't miss any numbers, okay? And the area is in centimeters squared, okay? Now, after finding the area of the bigger circle and the smaller circle, I just have to subtract them from each other. So 38.465 minus 33.1665 here. And the answer will be, so 38.465 minus 465 minus 33.16625. And the answer is 5.29875. Now, this is the final answer. Now, I need the answer correct to three significant figures. Three significant figures, it means I need three numbers in the answer, within the final answer. And three numbers means like this. These are three numbers. So I look at the first number outside this box. It's an 8. The 8 is big. This will add 1 to the 9. And when you add 1 to the 9, it will become 0. So this one will become 0. So we have a 0 here and the 1 here because it becomes 10. 1 plus 2 is going to be 3, like this. So we have 10, and 1 plus 2 is 3. And here we have 5. So here we have a decimal point and a 5. So the final answer is 5.30. So the final answer, the area of the shaded part equals 5.30 centimeters squared. Centimeters squared. Because it's an area, so we have to end up with centimeters squared. And this is how you answer a question like this. So basically, we found the area of the bigger circle and the area of the smaller circle, and then we subtract them together, and then we round them to three significant figures. Now let's move on to the next question. In this question here, the circumference of a circle is 88 centimeters. Find its radius. First, we write the rule of the circumference of a circle. Circumference of a circle equals what? Very good. 2 pi r. 2 pi r. 2 pi r. Like this. Now, let's put the sign of the pi so we don't forget it here. So 2 pi r. Now, in the question, they gave us the circumference, which is 88 centimeters. It means I can substitute it here. And I know that pi is 3.14. It means this can help me find the radius. So I'm going to rewrite everything again with the numbers. So 88 equals 2 multiplied by pi, which is 3.14, multiplied by r. Now I can do the calculations. So 88 equals 2 times 3.14 is 6.28. 6.28 r because it's multiplied by r. Now I'm going to take the 628 to the other side by dividing because it's multiplied. I can take it by dividing over here. So the r will equal what? Very good. The r will equal 88 divided 6.28. So 88 divided 6.28 like this. Now I divide them with a calculator and I'll get the length of the radius. Let me write it here. So 88 divided 6.28. And the answer is 14.0. 14.01. You can round this to three significant figures. It will become 14.0. So equals 14, or you can say 14 alone, okay? And that's the idea of this question. Now let's move on to the next question. Let's see if we have time for this question here. Now, in this question here, this arrowhead has an area of 35 centimeters square. Find the length of x. So this is the length that we're trying to find. And the arrowhead, the whole area is 35 centimeters square. I can use one of the triangles. Instead of using both triangles, I can use one of them and find the x as a base of a triangle. So I'm going to cover this. I'll show you how. Let me cover this here. This triangle, I'm going to cover it, the one on top. And when I cover it, it means the 7 will be divided by 2, which is half of the length here, which is 7, okay? And even the area will be divided by 2. This means that the area of half of the arrowhead will be 35 by 2. So first, let's do this here. So this one will become 3.5 centimeters. So now I'm trying to find the base, which is here, x, and the area will be divided by 2. So first, the area, 35 divide 2, as we said, and I'll get half of the area of the arrowhead, 35 divide 2, which is 17.5 centimeters squared. Sorry, 17.5 centimeters squared. That's the first step, which is dividing the area by 2 and dividing with the first 7 by 2 to get 3.5. Okay. Now let's write the area of a triangle formula. The area of a triangle equals half times base times height. We already have the area, which is 17.5. Now I'm going to follow up this one. I'm going to use smaller numbers. So 17.5 here, the area of the arrow, or half the arrow head. So 17.5 equals half, which is 0.5, times the base, which is x. Let's call it x. So half x times height, okay? Multiplied by height. Let's put the x, the last one. So times base. Let's call it b. Let's call it b, okay? I don't want to confuse the x with the multiplying sign, so let's call it b. And then times height, which is 3.5. Now I do my calculations. So 17.5 equals 0.5 when you multiply it by 3.5. Yes, 0.5 times 3.5 is going to be 1.75. So 1.75 multiplied by b, which is the base. Now I need to find the base. As I said, I didn't want to use x because I don't want to confuse it with the multiplying signs. Now I'm going to take the 1.75 to the other side because it's multiplied. I'm going to take it by dividing here. So basically 17.5 divide 1.75 will equal the base, will equal the base of the triangle. So here I do the dividing. Let me put the fraction sign. Yes, fraction sign. Now I do the dividing. So 17.5 divide 1.75. I'll end up with 10, and the unit is centimeters. And this is how you answer a question like this. So the basic idea is I just divided the triangles into two triangles because both of them are the same. And this dividing made me divide the area into two and this length, which is the height of the triangles, into two. So 7 divide 2 is 3.5, 35 divide 2 is 17.5. Now we're talking about one triangle. So I'm trying to find the base of this triangle. The base, I called it b instead of x because I don't want to confuse it with the multiplying sign. The area of a triangle equals half base times height. The area, which is 17.5, equals half times base, which is unknown, times height, which is 3.5. I multiplied these, I got 1.75, and then took it the other side by dividing, and I got the base of the triangle. And this is how you answer a question like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.